2010, I think you just released Crush It. I read the book when you're on vacation. Read the book. I go out, do the podcast, follow your advice, launch it. I talk about in class always, you got contributors and you got sort of creators. One's always contributing to the process, but one's always creating on the other side.
When you're handed $10 million from your trust, you're not doing smart things with it. You're either a maker of money, someone who's not a maker of money, or an inheritor of money.
Right. So you're saying there's three basic topics there.
People that are wealthy are not necessarily creators.
Three things we're told to never talk about, right? Religion, politics, and money. And normally by times they're 40, 50, they've had conversations about religion or politics, whatever.
Yep.
They've never had that conversation about money.
We don't talk about money or sex in America.
I was going to stay on that side of town, which is kind of different from this side, do some photo shoots, videos, and so forth over there. So that's 5:45, so it's like 6. So golden hour is like, what, 7 to 8?
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Spirit Airlines, we're here to New York City with a local time in. It's about 7:45.
I assume that I'll walk in there at some point at the very, very quick beginning of he's going to say, so tell me about yourself, what do you do? What are you guys trying to accomplish? Some type of question like that. I think on that question is when I try to go into the concept. I'm trying to figure out a way to make that dot, because I think once I get on that page and he realizes, I think it would change the atmosphere of the room. Instead of me coming in as I'm a dude that does podcasts and I'm trying to launch this podcast idea, I actually went through my sales numbers, right? Because I have a spreadsheet of all the sales. And so when I told you the concept of the highest platform salesperson, here's why I'm coming up with that. Number one, we're the largest company out there that does it. And out of the largest company that does it, I'm the number one speaker per data of the largest company. If I started with something like that, the Connect the Dots to Success resources, I think there'll be a higher level of mutual respect from the beginning. And somewhere in there, I thought I wanted to go back and say, once I got picked up, I technically through your advice, I did not know where I was going to go down. But when this opened up, I jump in here, it blows me up. I become the number one real estate trainer in the world. But in between that time of me growing from never doing it to becoming number one, I just went dark because I put all my focus, all my energy, everything I had into understanding this game from a macro to a micro level. I want to know what the person thought when they walked in the door, right? So I pulled out of everything, and then the whole time, all I freaking hear is you screaming at me on Facebook about your personal brand. So 4 months ago, 6 months ago, I go back and say, okay, I'm going to go relaunch it again. And now it's totally different. I can launch from a different perspective, different angle. I think it sounds better if I start off and say, honestly, bros, 2010 is where it really started for me. I also like, no matter what question he asks, it's got to start back when I start talking, then on his book, Crush It. He doesn't have the ball now. He for sure does now, right?
No, I would think so, right? He's gonna have something from him, something. But yeah, this at least it's like
at least
got more guys.
Namath could not do that today.
Exactly. See what
put it. Super Bowl III.
You know these albums then, Robert?
It's their one and only championship.
The one and only, man, living the dream. Where's Namath's hat on it?
Right there.
Oh, there he is, right there. Wow, look at that, bro. All right, how much is this one?
Actually,
it's more money. Don't worry about it.
No, don't.
Switch it right out. Don't worry, it's all good.
There's more of one of these,
Of
right?
course, yeah, they did a signing.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna tell him, I'll give him this, and just tell him if he needs to exchange it.
Of course, yeah.
Hit you guys up.
Yeah, definitely.
And you guys can exchange it for him for cards or whatever it is. I'll shoot you guys a video of it, because I have a video.
Oh, that would be great.
I'll shoot you guys a video of it happening. The girl that was going to be Veronica, she left to go to another event that we're doing out in San Antonio. She went ahead and left this morning. So I was in a meeting going over the podcast we're going to shoot and stuff with my team. And then she texts me. She's like, bro, you need to go check your Instagram.
She found it, yeah.
She's going to watch. She said, they just hit you up.
Oh yeah, we have this empathy wine. in the
Empathy
back.
wine?
Yeah, I bought a case of that.
Did you buy a case of it?
Yeah.
Bro, take a picture with it. I'll show it to him.
Perfect.
You got the bottles? Let's do this. Let's take a photo. I'm gonna make you fold it back up. You okay with folding it back up?
Wait, you told me to hold it up?
Yeah. So we'll do it this way. That's the jersey right there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Little branding.
Little branding.
This is like the launch of at least a month of hard work. At least a month. Man, oh man. This is the first time I've been nervous in a while.
How are you? Good to see you. What I get you?
You can show this side. Yeah. And then we can.
You guys will be filming.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure. Just a little bit. You can film if you want to. Yeah. Sorry.
I know. I'll see that.
Man, I think I do that jersey first. Right? Yeah, so at the end. We gotta do that at the beginning.
Yeah.
So timely.
Yeah, what's the odds that freaking happening today?
Yeah, I know.
Nate, are you getting into? You're not getting into the sports cards yet. What's that? Yeah, that's true. This has actually been your worst nightmare.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good.
Love the new shoes, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, they're getting a lot of love. Oh, I see you got those.
I had to order these. They didn't sell these by me.
No, those are legit. Those are some of the ones that really everyone's freaking out about the high tops.
I'm gonna give the recap one more time and we'll shoot from there and then ask you a question. So Gary, obviously the cool part is my whole life has like kind of been copied and right behind what you sort of do through the process. And 2010, I think you just released Crush It. I read the book. I'm in on vacation. Read the book. I go out, do the podcast, follow your advice like you do with Wine Library TV there, and launch it and build the content. A couple of years later, get picked up. Do it for 2-3 years with nothing at all, no money, no feedback. Get picked up by a huge company, launches my career. But I pull back. I stopped doing the brand, but I spend the next 2-3 years teaching and training. So every week I train, and the topic is really about money and wealth and what it does and what it doesn't do, the good and bad of it. And the biggest question is just trying to figure out, as we talk to people, is what is the one piece of money? Trying to have like an authentic conversation about it in the sense of, in these rooms, they'll sit there, they're 30, 40, 50 years old, and they've never had a conversation about money. It's like the 3 things we're told to never talk about, right? Religion, politics, and money. And normally by the times they're 40, 50, they've had conversations about religion or politics, whatever.
Yep.
They've never had that conversation about money.
We don't talk about money or sex in America.
Yeah, off limits. Can't do it.
I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm part of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it sort of drips down from generation to generation because once family has it and they learn certain words and certain key words of why they can't have it, why they can't afford it, and it sort of goes from generation to generation through the process. So the whole point of this is how do we sort of break through that barrier and make money a okay topic to discuss? How do
Sounds
we
great.
make it legit where it's not taboo anymore in the policy? What's your thoughts, man?
I think that's right. I think anything in the shadows is bad.
Yeah.
You know, I think money is one of those things. I couldn't agree with you more. I always say money and sex is something America's just uncomfortable with sharing, me included. But I think the concept's right. And more importantly, like just the education around money.
A whole part of it is most people don't understand the game of money.
It's because people buy dumb stuff.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with money is people buy things.
random shit
that
they don't need.
The amount of people listening right now that have bought stuff in the last 6 months that makes no goddamn sense if the world melts tomorrow is the issue.
Is worthless. You think a lot of it goes back to the social media side of what we live in?
No, I think it was happening before social media. I think it's normal human behavior to be insecure and care what people think, and thus you buy clothes and cars and diamonds and houses to try to project something to show people you're successful.
Yeah. Almost like a facade that people wear just through the
Keeping
process.
up with the Joneses.
Yeah, keeping up with the Joneses. Whole mentality, right? Very, very. I talk about in class always. You got contributors and you got sort of creators. Sort of middle class America, I call contributors. Wealthy, we call creators to the process. One's always contributing to the process, but one's always creating on the other side. And it seems like wealthy people are constantly creating money and preparing for that. I always say they anticipate.
You know, it's funny. Wealthy, I always break that into 2 buckets. Wealthy people that made their money.
Yeah.
Continue to create. Wealthy people that inherit their money, I think, are defenders.
Yeah. Sit on it and protect it. They're afraid they're going to lose what they have.
Or completely just, you know, when you're handed $10 million as a 25-year-old from your trust, you're doing all sorts of dumb shit.
Right.
You're either wasting it, you're not doing smart things with it. You're either a maker of money, someone who's not a maker of money, or an inheritor of money.
Right. So you're saying there's 3 basic topics there.
People that are wealthy are not necessarily creators, because a lot of people that are wealthy weren't the people that created the wealth.
We're the ones who actually created it. So you have those that create wealth, those that inherit wealth, and those that don't create wealth. So
That's right.
Three overall buckets.
I think that's why I jumped in there. I think it's an interesting one, because I think a lot about the ones that inherit.
Yeah.
Because I think they act more like the ones that don't create it.
The contributor side of it.
You know? And
they go straight defense once they get it. It's all about defense.
And I think people that look at people of wealth look at those people versus the ones that create it too often, which gets you into games like of luck, and it eliminates people understanding what it takes to create money.
Yeah.
Creating money comes in 2 forms. My father probably sits on more liquid money than I do and has never come close to making as much money as I did.
Right.
He just really doesn't buy anything.
Right.
Like I don't buy anything, he freaking really doesn't buy anything.
Yeah.
So like, I was just actually talking to the guy, I was just talking to Dustin before you got here. Randomly, I didn't even know the context of this conversation. A couple people have been jumping up on social and saying, you know what, Gary, you keep saying that you didn't make any money until you were 34, but how did you have $50,000 to invest in Facebook and Twitter? And I said, because I lived in a shithole in Springfield, New Jersey, and paid $1,100 in rent, and even though I made $63,000, I didn't buy anything. So I was able to save $11,000 that year. Meanwhile, there's people that my company who make $100,000 a year, who are living in a way too big of an apartment in Brooklyn, who buy $4 coffee, who go to Coachella, who are wearing Supremes, and they make $100,000 a year, and they saved negative $4,000 this year because they have a credit card. I didn't have a credit card. I did not have a credit card until I was 30 years old. I used my debit card. Anything that I was in my bank, I could spend. Anything I couldn't, I couldn't.
Yep. In class, there's people that make 30 grand, live paycheck by paycheck, and there's people that in the same classroom, same city, same area, make 200 grand.
Paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck by paycheck. Doesn't matter. And the person that makes 30 says if they make 60, it'd solve all their problems. And the person that makes 120 says if they made 180, it'd solve all their problems.
Buying dumb shit.
Yeah.
I'm dying to know what percentage of Americans own a home that they used all their liquid on to put a down payment, that have maximized their expenses on their mortgage and lifestyle to maintain it, and don't use 40% of it.
Yeah.
Do you know how cliche the picture I just painted is? You bought the most expensive house you could afford.
Yep. Whatever the mortgage lender said you're approved for. They said 400, you bought 400. Right? Relevant to your budget.
Which that means you're pressured on hitting the mortgage because it was predicated on that.
Right.
And you're not using 60% of the home.
Right. Since vacant. Storage rooms, bedrooms become storage rooms, right? Dining rooms are never entered into.
Dining rooms? The fuck is a dining room in 2019?
Right. Yeah. Who goes there?
What do you have a butler too? Like what? Like I mean, but I mean this. I get passionate about this because if you bought a home with 2 less rooms, turn your 3rd bedroom that you don't use for the kid you're gonna have in 9 years as your dining room. Like don't have a dining like you know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah.
Or use the dining room as a bedroom and buy a 3-bedroom instead of a 4-bedroom or 2-bedroom instead of 3-bedroom. I'm passionate about this.
And do you think it all stems back from the process of just not understanding the game of money or the education behind it, never taught it?
I think money is actually, it's funny, I was thinking about, I thought your opening question is, all right, Gary, finish this sentence.
Yeah.
Money is, and I played it in my head right before we started. And it was funny what happened. Literally my answer was, money is fine.
Yeah.
That's where my head went. It's fine. Like, I understand the value. I hate when people watch or listen to me. Easy for you to say you have it. I'm like, you didn't know me in my 20s when I didn't. You didn't know me. You don't know me now. I have a very funny relationship with money. I do not think I'm overly strategic. I have people around me that give me better advice than I take.
Sure.
It's like, I think money actually is an exposer of what's going on in your head. I think money is a physical exposer.
Like reveals what's really behind that.
100%. I think money and social media are very similar in that they expose who you are.
Interesting. Almost like a character revealer.
I think money's a character revealer.
Yeah.
I think if you're insecure and you want your older brother was successful and you're insecure about that you're going to do everything you can to amass money in the short term and expend and deploy it to create a perception.
Yeah. You think that, you know...
You agree with that, Jace? What? You don't react to a lot of stuff, like... You just believe in it. It's just very real. Like, I just, like... Nobody knows how... Like, I have no idea, when I look at everybody here, how much money they have saved, how much debt they're in, or anything about it. And that's what everybody is. But everybody can see, I can see Nate's wearing those Nikes. I can see the Patagonia hat on Jason's.
Yeah.
I see your, and that's why people use it. Because we don't talk about money. Like, I famously talk about this one story, I think you were my admin at the time, where somebody was really razzing me on social, like, you're a bad guy, Gary. You talk about buying the jets, but you never tweet about charity like everybody else. And I was in a weird-ass mood. And I fucking hit up the guy, and I met him at Starbucks on the Upper East Side, and I brought my tax return.
Oh, shit.
And I showed him that I gave a ton to charity compared to and I go, what you're stupid about is my friends that you're putting on a pedestal in Silicon Valley, they talk about it on Twitter. And I know some of them don't do it.
Right.
I'm like, I'm sorry that I'm not comfortable promoting this. So, like, I think that's what I think about, those things. Like, God. I mean, there's that classic, like, there was a really fun meme that was on Instagram a couple years ago where it showed Jay-Z as a kid and the big chains and all the jewelry, and then Jay-Z today, plain black t-shirt, and he goes, this guy had $3 million, this guy has $500 million. And I think there's a very interesting thing about that, which is, first of all, if you like fine things, like, I don't want to demonize people that want to buy a nice watch when they, like, genuinely like it.
Right.
Like, if you know how many people know? I know nothing about a car. If my car broke down on the side of the road, I have to call 911. Like, I'm not even AAA. I'm like, 911. I really, that's how bad I am. Like, but like, if you genuinely know a Maserati, you understand it, you wash it every Saturday. Like, a sunny day in the summer is like your dream if you live in the East Coast because you can't wait to drive it. If you're like, it's for you, that's amazing. The problem is 99% of, not 99%, an enormous percentage of things people that buy is not for them.
Yeah.
It's for other people. You're trying to use it to get the girl. You're trying to use it to, like, show your dad that you're better than him. You're trying to do it to, like, one up your competitive sister. Your new brother-in-law's a real dick and like is all about money, and you're gonna insecure. And so, yeah, I've really gotten into a fascinating place in my mind about money and trying to get people to. I'm asking them why. Why do they buy stuff? Because I think the biggest issue with money is not how much you make, it's how much you spend.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
I think it goes back to because it goes back to every person that has 30,000, 40, 50, 80, 100 grand a year. It doesn't matter how much they make because they spend all of it. We go over the process. If we make 50, we spend 50. We make 80. If we get approved for a loan for 200, we're gonna get a loan for $200,000 for the house. It's irrelevant what we can afford.
I watched my parents become well off on not making that much money.
Yeah.
Just not spending.
You're right.
I went on 2 family vacations my entire life.
Yep.
2.
I
don't know what to say. Like, every t-shirt I wore for the first 15 years of my life was a liquor t-shirt that was free. Being serious.
That was
like,
free
really,
given to
really,
him.
really. Like, and we bought clothes, it was like Bradley's. Like, I lived it. I watched it in my face. I lived it.
So it seems like just talking it out loud, I hear it's almost like we're getting this process of money is revealing what's really behind that process right there. Money's a revealer.
Look, there's a really, listen, I think my parents took it to the extreme.
Sure.
Like, anybody who's listening, like, you need to enjoy your life. It's a very simple question. Do you have any money? Like, how about that question? For everybody's right, do you have any money? Like, in your bank account, is there money?
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Do you have credit card bills and debt? Do you have money in your bank account? If you do not have money in your bank account, or you do, but your debt is greater than that,
Which is zero. Right.
you have to change your lifestyle.
Something's off. Yeah. And it goes back to, I think it all goes back to just not understanding how that game of money is freaking played through the process, and the lack of understanding. I think it's part of it goes into even from the time that they're, I know you hit this topic a lot, but even from the time they're 18, 19, they go to college, and it's the one time that they could go borrow with back loans, whatever, they can go borrow crazy amounts of money to go to a college to get a degree in philosophy. You know what I mean?
I don't want to talk about this. It always gets me in trouble. Like, it's devastating.
Yeah.
It's devastating because you can't declare bankruptcy.
No, it's like the one thing like that and like HOAs.
It's the
weird,
biggest
but
racket. It's not weird. It's a racket.
Yeah. I didn't
Why
want to
can
say
you
it.
declare bankruptcy from everything else but not college loans? Like, let's ask basic questions.
And that's why they give it to all these 18-year-old kids because they know they can't get rid of
These
it.
are very basic questions. It's not super complicated. I'd like to know. Could somebody answer it? It's because college's brand was created. I mean, it's just a racket. It's a fucking racket.
Yeah, there's a new article that just came out that said like kids from like born in 81 to 96 are the generation has the biggest amount of debt moving forward. Because they were in that hyper phase of going to college with massive amounts of money. If you're born from 81 to like 96, there's an insane amount of debt that those kids are in right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes me mad. Makes me sad. Like, it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Just not understanding. And again, it goes back. Again, I keep saying it because it all goes back to just not understanding what the process is, not understanding what that game, how to do it, or never being taught, never being addressed.
But isn't the teaching very basic? Like, I'm sure it's probably more complicated than I like it to, but I keep things basic. Like,
Sure.
Don't spend more than you have. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Or make an investment that is practical. The reason I have a problem with college is your diploma, when you come out now, doesn't carry the weight it used to.
Right. Yeah. It does not carry the same way.
It's not super complicated. Like, it's not, I have no problem with college. Go to college. When you leave, your diploma from Florida State, from Arizona State, from, wherever, Michigan, it's not 1992. And it costs 3 times more.
3 times more, 4 times more.
3 times more, 4 times more. Like, it flipped. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like sports cards. Now they're about to be worth something again. They hadn't been for the last 20 years. It's just the market. I'm sorry that college's market flipped.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that everybody in the housing world got mad at me a year ago when I was like, listen, if you're an offensive entrepreneur, buying a house is bad. You're taking liquid off the table. Nobody knows that you own a house if you're worried about that. So use that money of your down payment to keep investing and staying on the offense in your 20s and 30s when it's a good idea to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, my relationship with money for people and myself is very simple, which is, A, what do you need to be happy? Like, one of the things, I transitioned with my wealth creation where I do have certain things, like I don't need to have a house in the Hamptons. That's not inexpensive. I also didn't want to end up being my parents where it was such an extreme, like, am I enjoying my life? But in lieu to what I still make or what I'm worth or things of that nature, I don't live anywhere close to like up to that threshold. So I'm just at a higher plane, but I'm still playing immigrant.
Yeah.
Whether you're making 50,000 and living 35,000 or you're making 13 million and living 6 million, like, it's still the same game. And I just don't understand how people continue to spend more money than they have. I apologize. Some kid hits me up the other day. Gary, you talk about working for free or $12 an hour. How the fuck am I supposed to do that living in the Bay Area? Don't live in the Bay Area, dick.
Yeah, move. Rocket science, though. It's like they'll never go through that process.
It's called entitlement.
Yeah. Why? Again, it's just funny because I teach all around the nation, and it was in San Jose. Now they're making, instead of making 80 grand, they're making 300 grand but this exact same boat they're sitting in from the guy in Kentucky making $75,000 a year.
100%.
It's the exact same process. They get up and they talk about, well, I make $300,000 salary for this or that, right? But you understand you're 100% maxed out on everything.
And then I want to go into their house.
Yeah.
When somebody stands up and goes, I make $300,000 a year, but I'm broke and I'm sad and like, help me. I want to be like, I want to go in your house.
Yeah.
And when I walk in, the amount of dumb shit sitting in your basement and garage that you've used twice.
I'll flip
And
it.
why? And then when I get to your house, you have a landscaper.
Yeah.
The fuck is the landscape? You like that one? Right? But I'm right about I feel like I can imagine already. I'm super sad, Gary. Coming on it. Okay, drive up Tuesday afternoon. There's a landscaper. I'm like, what the fuck is the landscape?
Yeah.
You're upset.
I'm broke.
You're broke. What the fuck do you have a landscaper for? Cut your own lawn, asshole.
Right.
Right? You walk into the house like fucking. There's 7 fucking plasma TVs in 7 different rooms. Like really?
Random art, stuff everywhere.
Like, you open the fridge, like, fuck this $80 fucking gourmet milk. Or 8, maybe not 80, but like, why do you have a $39 bottle of champagne?
Yeah.
Like, people are incapable of living to their means. And when I say means, I mean 20 to 40% below their income.
That's the number that you would. I'm pulling off the top of your head right now.
Yeah,
right?
completely out of my ass. I have no idea.
Just
You probably know
shooting shit,
better.
right?
There's probably some national, there's some probably good information. My answer, as much as possible. Like, dude, I made 34, 42, 48, 75. That was the big conversation with my dad when I was 27. I was like, Dad, hey, can I, fucking, I feel like I should pay myself. Business is doing 15 million now.
Come on.
But like, I made no money. But fuck, man, I spent none.
But you still had money though. Even though you made none, you still had money.
Saved, 30,000 saved, 50,000 saved,
and when
70,000 saved. Went up every year. I didn't spend money.
And when the opportunity came, that money created fucking more money.
All these, Gary, fuck you. If I was really making money, I'd be a trillionaire. I would have fucking put $1 million into Facebook and made fucking quadrillion.
Yep.
Fuck if I was making money. If I was making money, you think I would have fucking started this company in a fucking conference room with Buddy Media? People don't save money.
And refuse to, as simple as it is, like the most basic advice, spend less than you make.
Isn't that it?
Somehow they can't understand it. And then, of course, it grows, right? Money's always sort of a growing thing, and you get to the group that has more and more money, or the entrepreneur that did go out and crush it, using your terminology, right? Followed your advice. And do you ever see this? Maybe this will be the last question here. Do you ever see where someone hyper-focuses, sometimes he's in class, where they hyper-focus on some random business. They own a print shop or whatever it is. They open up whatever it is, and they hyper-focus on that. But really, to me, it seems like the reason they started this ABC company, landscape company, print shop, was really to be able to create some more money to go do what they want to go do, whatever that passion is, that the real driving force behind it. But it seems like they refuse to, again, it's like they refuse to talk about it, acknowledge it, go through it. They'll learn everything about ABC company, print shop, but nothing about the language of money or the game of money. At 5, 6, 7 years later, they're still in that same rat race, small circle.
Why do you think people buy things?
Oh, I think 100% true. I think they buy things to impress people. Period. That's it.
This is why, listen,
That's it.
I hate the thought of being a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
I hate the idea of being theoretical and not practical. The last 5 years of my life have forced me into some of these theories and these higher level things because I'm giving people the advice. It's black and white advice. They don't have the mental infrastructure to be able to take it.
Do you think they're looking for like a secret magic thing? If I had
The
this
same
or
reason
did this.
diet pills work.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Hey guys, eat well, exercise every day.
Eat less calories, burn more calories. Diet coach Gary V.
Ready? I'm gonna be a financial and diet coach in 2 seconds. Ready? Burn more calories than you eat and consume. Spend less money than you make.
Yeah.
I have just solved 88% of every Instagram post in the world.
Yeah. And put a lot of companies out of business that sell other stuff. Yeah.
People prey on insecurity.
Well played. Well said.
And I'm very, very much trying to create the opposite energy.
Wow. People prey on insecurity.
Yep.
Interesting.
Are you a bad mom?
That late night commercial?
So, you're already in trouble.
Shit, that's
Am I?
me.
Fuck yes. I
guess I am.
You know.
Now that you mention it.
Uh-huh.
Wow. So people prey on the insecurity, and that's part of it. Interesting, bro.
That's why the imagery is important, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever subject you're talking about, like you're a guy, they show somebody with abs and the pretty girl and the house.
Yeah.
You're like, I want, like it's just all this stuff.
Yep.
That's why I'm super proud of what I'm up to. There is no flash. Like I'm posting pictures of me and My Little Ponies, not cash. You know, like
At a garage sale.
Yeah. So like to me, it's important what I'm actually doing. That garage sale stuff, there's a purpose there.
Yeah. You're showing that. I mean, that's the grassroots of anybody can go freaking do it. When I watch that and see that,
Yeah.
when people say I don't have any money, I literally go back to those episodes and say, then get your fucking ass outside
It's how it started.
and go there.
$5.
Because don't tell me you don't have $5. I mean,
If you want $5, you didn't tell me that everybody on earth has an iPhone.
yeah.
Every single
Yeah.
homeless person that
Yeah.
I've given money
Oh,
to.
yeah. In New York, man, they're everywhere.
You know, everybody.
Everywhere.
Everybody
Yeah.
has an iPhone.
Yeah. But they're also broke because it's $1,000 and then they charge it.
And my thing about the market, one thing I love about garage selling and eBay is there's no man in the middle.
Yeah.
Nobody's not hiring you because you're a minority.
It's all up to you.
I love that.
Yep.
You know, that's why I love the market. You know, nobody's not people.
It's not biased
People
at
talk
all.
about like there's bias and they're so right, and I hate that about
Yeah,
the
sure.
world. But when you play with the market, there is nobody in the middle to be biased. eBay is not biased. If you're trying to raise capital from a venture capitalist, there's bias.
Yep. Should be. Could be. Might be.
By the
that.
way, you know who gets destroyed by those people? Me. I wasn't a good student. Like 22-year-old me is raising no capital. Forget about being white or whatever. No capital. You went to Mount Ida College, you're a loser.
Right.
So like there's school bias, there's clearly racial and gender bias, but there's all sorts of bias. So don't be at the mercy of somebody. Go buy fucking t-shirts and flip them on eBay. Build up $100,000 after 4.5 years. Do an immigrant style, not an entitled style.
Two totally different games right there. That's a good one, man.
Right?
Immigrant versus entitlement style.
Entitlement is I can't get capital for you want people to give you money on your idea and it's worth $4 million? That's fine. But like, I'm far more excited about teaching people how to make money than how to raise it.
Yeah. How to create it or how to make it versus how to hopefully someone gives it to you. So use the word entitlement. I think it's a good one. I'm going to use that. Have an immigrant mentality versus, when it comes to money, have an immigrant mentality versus entitlement mentality.
There's a reason immigrants win. When you come from shit and you come here and you live in shit, like you just came from a country of shit.
Yeah.
Like you're not, you're like, all right, I'll just live in this cockroach fucking shit place for 4 years, but I'll save all my money and we'll buy a nice house.
Yeah.
It's a tortoise in the hare. Immigrants are tortoises.
Yeah.
Entitled second generation middle class people are hare.
And they got to keep up with the Joneses. They've done it their whole lives.
That's right.
And they saw their parents do it. They saw their parents live that way. And
Yep. That's it.
you sort of saw it from your side too. You saw your parents live a certain way of the immigrant style.
Yep.
That sort of bred into you naturally without even attempting. It's just that was what was saw. That's what you did.
And then a lot of things happen, right? I was good at and I am and will continue to be great at making money.
Yeah.
So that's a talent. So that makes it easier. I get that. But there was another thing. I don't value it, which is a dangerous or great thing. It depends on how.
We're on that line, right?
Right? It's a very fine line. If you're great at making it like me, it can be an incredible happiness radar. That's what's happened with me.
Yeah.
If you're not great at making it, then you can get careless with it if you don't care about it. But like, it still comes down to outside affirmation.
So it all sums up for it.
I don't know if you know about this hood game called Big Wallet, Little Wallet. So one of my favorite games in college, when I went with all these hoodsters out of college, was there's a game in the streets called Big Wallet, Little Wallet.
Yeah.
And here's how you play it. You roll up on somebody and you say Big Wallet, Little Wallet. And if they say bet, that means you both pull out all the money you have, and whoever has more money takes the other person's money.
You say bet.
They're acknowledging I'll take
the
I rolled up
wager.
to Nate right now and said Big Wallet, Little Wallet, and he's like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing, like these days, back then I carried $1,000 in cash at all times.
Yeah.
Because I ATM, I didn't even have an ATM card until I was 25, let alone, so I used to be cash. There's something about that game that I wish was mainstream at the highest levels, because then maybe it would help people not have to prove themselves with buying dumb shit. I almost think the world would be in a much better place if on your chest was a rolling count of how much money you had.
Yeah. No,
It would just let's just make it basic. Instead of buying dumb shit, let's just all play big wallet, little wallet publicly. And all of a sudden, the guy with jeans and t-shirt and says 7.9 million. What the fuck?
Yep. Naturally, everybody would start to play that game, and naturally they'd hold on to all their money versus buying.
You should really play. Jason, you and people that feel like you're carrying. I'm carrying no cash.
I don't carry any cash. I have all cards right now.
You want to play Nate? Nate, let's do it. I really want you guys to play. But do
Go get it.
No, but you have it? You both have your wallets? You want to play with me? I really don't think I have any money. Yeah, I mean, I might have like 10.
You'd have just won $12.
I'll play it.
You'll play?
I'll play it.
All right, go get it. I have no. I literally. This is not a joke. I either have $60 or $0 in my wallet. I just think it would be good for the content. We should play big wallet, little wallet.
Big wallet, little wallet. If you had that number counting on someone's chest, rolling, of how much money they had, everybody would hyper focus on keeping what they actually had.
Uh-oh, Jason feels good, I think. I feel like I'm gonna lose. I mean, he really wanted it. He did want it. This is an easy win for him. You got it? Oh, you had it the whole time?
All right, what we got?
All right. You good?
Big wallet, little wallet. Who's gonna call it?
All right.
Oh, all right, hold on. We got a 5.
We got 10. We got another 10. Ooh, I'm up $1.
Up $1.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
21.
all I got.
That's all you got.
5?
So I got 5. I'm down 15, right? No, I'm down 14.
Oh, this is a close one.
Oh no!
6, 7,
Like
20, 30, 40, 52, right? 40,
I think so.
45, 57, 52.
Worth it.
That was a good game, bro.
This is pretty good. That's it.
Now you'll know. Carry cash in the office. Big wallet, little wallet.
Huge win.
Huge win.
I just won.
This is called making money. Money is big wallet.
Nate, that's how it's done. That's how you make money, America.
Big wallet, little wallet.
All right, brother.
Gary, man,
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate me on. Appreciate it. Thanks, Gary. Hey, man, I did get something for you.
Thank you.
I got something for you, bro. So when I came into town, I bought you a. This is crazy, dude. Last night I came in, I bought you a Joe Namath football. Okay. Then I fucking woke up this morning on my Gary diet, and I saw you had fucking Joe Namath in here. So I said, shit, he's probably already got it. So I went back. This is cool, man. The store.
Unbelievable.
Check this out. The store that I bought it from locally, I told them that I was going to interview. They're huge fans, bro. They're a baseball card shop, Millbury shop. And so here's what happened. So I told him yesterday, I said, bro, I'm going to go interview Gary. They had a couple pieces of Jets stuff for you. And I bought the Joe Namath football. The guy chases me down on Instagram. I didn't give him my card, didn't give him information. Got my receipt. He saw that you were Joe Namath in town. He said, shit, I just sold this guy this football. He chases me down on Instagram, direct messaging me and says, bro, come in. I'll return it for you, exchange it for you, get something else for Gary, okay? So I go back and he gives me, this is the last piece he had of Jets. This right here is the
69.
69. You may have it.
No,
you may
I
have
the
it.
Helmet, but not the jersey.
So this is a 69 team, all signed from all 12 of them. Yeah, little wallet, big wallet. And this is the certificate. And there's his card right there, bro.
Yeah, I'll hit him up.
So here's what's cool. When I went back, I want you to know this because I told him I'm gonna record it. Yeah. So no, dude. So when I was there, I want to be completely honest. When I was there, that was more than a football. Okay.
I'm sure it is.
And he said, hey, if you're gonna give it to Gary, then he said, I'll switch you straight up. I'll give it to you. But then the dude gives me this because he knows I'm gonna meet you. He said, man, take it as is. He said, hopefully Gary likes it. Then we're there. You got a video? You got a picture of it? I'm there. He's like, dude, I'm a huge fan. He said, I bought Empathy Wines daily. Why did it come out? And I said, you're not that big of a Gary fan. He said, no, bro, I have it in the back. He went back there. He has Empathy Wines. So I took a photo. Just to show it to you. So that's the dude that's owning the store, full of baseball cards. He said, dude, I'll shut down my whole store and let Gary shop in there. Right down here, down the road. So yeah. One little thing here, bro. So this is just for me, for my personal office.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm gonna do some interview on Grant Cardone next. I got Kevin Larry, a bunch of people. So I made these little metal frames. I'm gonna put in my office. And it says, money is your one word that you were talking about. And
A silver one.
yeah, that's the little one.
Am I 30 behind?
So dope, dude. You get a photo with it? Yeah, we're gonna take a picture. Right, over here to Adam.